I am Victor Ramirez, a 36-year-old man living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I have always believed in fighting for what is right even when the odds are stacked against me. My life used to be simple. I worked as a mechanic fixing cars and I took pride in my work and my integrity. But everything changed the day I got rear-ended at high speed. The accident was not my fault, and the insurance company for the at-fault driver, State Farm, accepted liability. I thought that would be the end of it, that they would fairly pay for the damages and I could move on. But I was wrong. It was just the beginning of a nightmare. Instead of a fair settlement, I found myself caught in a rigged game, manipulated by a corporation that cared only about minimizing their losses. They used outdated junk data from a system called CCC1 to lower my payout by thousands of dollars. I was stunned when I saw what they were doing. Only two comparable vehicles were used for their calculations, and both from out of state. One of those had even been reported stolen, and both had 50 to 70,000 more miles than my car, which was a lie. Neither of those cars was for sale, and they knew it. But I knew that this wasn't just a difference of opinion on my car's worth, this was outright fraud. The offer they sent me was built on lies, stolen data, fake comparisons, and misrepresented facts meant to cheat me out of what I deserved. I kept asking for the full policy so I could see everything they were hiding, but they denied me twice. That was against the law in our state. When I escalated my complaints, they just blocked me, cut off my rental car early, and kept delaying my policy from being released, all while damage kept piling up. I felt helpless, like I was fighting a giant that didn't care if I was crushed. I knew I had to do something, so I started collecting evidence. I meticulously documented every email, every conversation, every fake comp they used against me. I created a 176-page dossier so thick that it might as well have been a weapon. I took this evidence and personally handed it to the chairs of 3 legislative committees, filing official complaints with the Securities and Exchange Commission and publishing a full exposé online. I poured my anger and my truth into those pages, and I made sure the story of this fraud spread far and wide. The media ignored my reports, and the regulator simply shrugged, saying all insurance companies do this. They refused to act. That only fueled my fire. I knew I had to go beyond just complaining. I needed to make this undeniable, so I kept pushing. I sent the full dossier to the Department of Justice, including every exhibit, every detail, every timeline, everything I had. I crafted a detailed email which I copied to the Attorney General, the Governor's office, the media, and all the key players. I made sure my voice was heard in their inboxes, loud and clear. I forced the issue onto the record, turning my fight into a public battle against corruption. I knew they could try to ignore me, but I also knew I had created something that could not be easily dismissed, an unassailable documentary of injustice. Then, just 2 days ago, I received a call that changed everything. The Department of Justice was reviewing my case. They want to examine all my evidence, understand what I've uncovered, and hold those responsible accountable. That moment felt like victory and vindication. I sent everything I had in a final, bold email, making it impossible for them to ignore the truth. I included every piece of evidence, every document, every detail, and I made sure to CC the people who needed to see it: lawmakers, investigators, the media, even the highest officials in the state. I turned my personal grievance into a moral stand. My battle started because I refused to be bullied, and I refused to let big companies cheat ordinary people. I knew that if I fought hard enough, I could shake the very foundation of this corrupt system. I have become the voice loud enough to rattle a state, and I am not done yet. This story isn't just about me, it's about everyone who has ever been duped by lies, stolen from by greed, or silenced by power. I refuse to be silenced anymore. I fought for justice and brought the truth into the light, and I will keep fighting until these injustices are exposed and corrected. The tables have turned, and now, with the Department of Justice reviewing my case, I am confident that the truth will come out and the crooks won't get away with it. I am Victor Ramirez, and I will not stop until justice is served.